Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, Wisdom in Golf. The sun is back out, the birds are chirping, summer's finally getting here, and we had a beautiful lesson last week on pulling shots left. Well, I know many of you don't have that problem. You're blocking them out to the right. So this video here about pushing way right or blocking straight right is going to be really key for you, and you don't want to miss this show. Now, before we continue, I know many of you have been watching my videos, but you haven't subscribed yet. So could you please subscribe to the channel? You know you're going to get awesome information. It just helps us out with the algorithm and all that good stuff, so we can continue to bring you some awesome videos. And then, give us a comment and a like, give us a thumbs up. It always helps. And in the event that you really don't want to miss any videos in the future, hit that notification bell, all right? See you in a bit. So you set up. You're going, there's my alignment. I'm lined up parallel to my target like the book says. But every time I send my swing in the direction I feel like I want to go, it blocks off to the right all too often. Okay? So let's examine first and foremost why you're blocking out to the right. Now, if you've never done a station like this, and you tend to hit the shots to the right, that's the first thing we want to do. Because if many of your playing partners have been telling you that you tend to line up too far right when you're playing golf, then that's definitely an issue. And I want to explain to you that your vision as a human being is binocular, eyes in front of the face. So all of the instruments, the way we drive a car, the way we pilot a plane, all the instruments are right there in front of us. We're not going to be, doing anything to the side. Everything is very, very at our fingertips, facing forward. So when you're playing golf, you're being asked to go this way. And this is where things get really messed up, because your eyes are badly positioned and they're giving the brain the wrong information. So the first thing you need to do is pick an intermediate point. So notice that divot in front of my ball? That divot is moving in the direction of that red flag. So if I line up like this, and so many of you have an intermediate point, you got alignment rods, and you're still lining up to the right. So what I want you to do, here's a fantastic acid test for your alignment. Because the ball socket system of your shoulders and hips are parallel to each other, so you don't walk around like Quasimodo. The hips are under the pelvis. Pelvis and rib cage are connected through the spine. Spine has facet joints like Lego blocks to keep it nice and solid for a solid structure. And you notice how your pelvis and rib cage move together in all activities. They don't move separately because they're connected intricately through the spine. So that means the ball sockets of the shoulders are parallel to the ball sockets of the hips. As soon as you bring your hands together in front of you, this will tend to swing parallel to your ball socket system, and your feet are the foundation of that. So if you put your feet down this way, your hips are going to the right. If you put your feet down this way, the hips are going to the left. Simple. Okay. So if your eyes are giving you the wrong information, you say, yeah, this feels really good. Typically, many of you are going to be lined up that way. So what you want to do is do a little practice swing back and through in front of you and observe the blur of the club and see if the blur of the club is parallel to your feet, right? So first and foremost, you want the blur to be parallel to your feet. Then you want to see that it's parallel to this ball and intermediate point. So I'm going to have to come around this way. So the blur matches my feet and is parallel to my ball, parallel to my alignment rods, or parallel to my ball and intermediate point, because I'm intersecting both. So now I've got proper alignment. This is the perfect acid test for you to be on the golf course with. So you get an intermediate point, no more than a foot in front of the ball, always from behind. You always pick it from back here, where you have binocular vision, and then when you get beside the ball, now you're looking for blur above that in that direction. So notice how everything is parallel now. On our premium channel, you're going to check out the Arc Blur Unstoppable Momentum series and the Blur of Club video. Very full, you know, it's a full series that expands big time in that direction. So now, when I get here, everything feels great. Now I can just allow that momentum to follow that arc in that direction. So you do a practice swing above the ball, and you say, wow, that's going in that direction. I lower it to the grass, and I'm just going to stay with that direction. And there you go, right over that red flag. Really cool, isn't it? So everything is flowing in that direction. Now, if you get there and you're lined up properly and the ball is still shooting off to the right, well, the next step is making sure your club face is closed enough. Because if the face is dynamically open, you're thinking, hey, I got a neutral grip like the book says, my hands are facing each other, and my club face is square. Well, what many of you don't understand, and you'll see this on the PGA Tour, they have very strong grips. The vast majority have a very strong grip. Those who have neutral grips have got very beefy forearms where they can bow the wrist to square up the face. You notice when I bow my wrist, it squares up the face. But that's not something that you need to do during the swing, because when you're playing baseball, you wouldn't bow the wrist when you're with a baseball bat. You would get your wrist ripped off. You wouldn't bow the wrist either when you're playing tennis. There's a lot of force coming on that tennis racket and that baseball bat that this is not going to appreciate. The force is a little less evident with the golf club, and you can get away with it, especially if you're a dominant trail hand player. If everything's great and you're hitting a nice draw, then we've already done it with alignment. But if your alignment's good and you're still blocking it out to the right, then we got a problem. So if we look at our grass whip here, here's our Wisdom in Golf grass whip. I got a much larger surface for you to understand. I'm going to close this sucker 45 degrees with my neutral grip and just going to close it. Then I'm going to put it into my baseball acid test. So I'm waiting for the pitch. The pitch comes and off I go. So notice the hands come through first, then the handle of the bat, then the meat of the bat, and then, whoa, look at that. That's not closed. I started here, but because my hands come through first, the heel of the instrument's coming in first. This is why you see the majority of the players on tour with a strong to a very strong grip. I got a list of over 100 of them. And in that top 100, you got at least 70 of them, okay? So, vast majority of you guys are going to appreciate having a much stronger grip as well, all right? So now that we have a dynamically square club, now when you swing in the direction of the target, the ball will go that way as well. So neutral square, in the baseball swing, you're going to strike out. Closed 45, we're in business. We can go to the target. So understand that every instrument known to humanity has been designed handle first in mind. Whether you're going fishing, see, elbow, hand, fishing pole, tip of fishing pole, lure. Sword, cutting through bamboo shoots, elbow, hand, beginning of blade, end of blade, release, peak speed is out there. You would never go tip of blade beforehand. Not a good thing. So we got an intermediate point. We're parallel to that. Start with very closed. Send the swing in that direction. See how the ball flies. If you feel at peak speed, and the peak speed of the swing is out here as I just demonstrated. So if you feel that when you made that swing, you're moving that ball out in the direction that you want to start it, and you felt that peak speed was out there, and the ball starts straight and curves to the left, then your club face is a little too closed. But if it starts a little right and fades a little bit more, and then you feel the need to correct that, there's a big problem. So if I'm over here and I've got this ball behind this alignment rod, and I play, let's say I'm playing a draw, I'm going to play the ball here back of center. So my club face is too open. See where I am? So I have to do this to square it up. Now, as I'm doing this, did you notice how my head's moving forward? So now that my head is moving out in front, the ball position is way too far back in my stance. You're really going to get a light bulb moment right now. So if I only had one arm and I was cutting grass with one arm, notice where the center of that is, my shoulder. Notice where the club is cutting grass, right there under my shoulder. So I bring both arms together in my grip. The center of the machine right now here is between my, it's sternal notch between my clavicles. So now the face is too open. I gotta help it. Center's now here. Ball is way back of center. I just blocked it to the right. So if your grip club relationship isn't closed enough and your head's moving forward and you're getting out in front of the ball, you're gonna block it all day. And now, worse than that, because the ball is further back in your stance, you gotta hurry up and hit the ball before you miss it. Many of you are saying, yeah, I rush my swing too much, I'm using too much effort. Well, yeah, you have to hurry up because you're now out of position. You don't want to ever put yourself in that predicament. So if this was a door frame and I'm hammering a nail into a door frame, my head would never move forward. There's my hammer, boom. So if I'm cutting a tree down with an axe, I would never do this with my head. Now I'm shaving bark into the ground. So now I'm staying behind it, and I've got a nice closed face or a nice strong grip or a little bit of both. And now it feels like, oh yeah, look at that. Now I can swing in that direction. I'm going that way, I'm going that way. I don't feel the need to get in front of it to square the face. So now I can maintain my position and stay with my target all the way to the finish. Key information, isn't it? So, A, make sure your alignment's proper. B, make sure your grip club relationship is closed enough. And you will now start to hit some straight shots. See you next week.